I'll take this one on behalf of Steve from Mark in Purley. He says, I've never heard so much self-indulging whining in all my life from that police officer. I find that very hard to believe, Mark. I really do. You could perhaps read your own texts. For a start, what on earth has an IT system got to do with the public? We pay the police to perform, and right now they're not. Major shake-up needed. Well, off the top of my head, mate, the IT system would be the means by which the public's complaints or reports are registered and responded to, the means by which tasks are allocated to police officers so they know where they're supposed to be going and what they're supposed to be doing, the means by which evidence is collated and passed on to the CPS in the hope of securing a prosecution. I can't think of anything more important to a police officer, except perhaps a truncheon, than the information management system that essays the passage of knowledge, facts and evidence from frontline to backroom to court. So it's Idiot's Corner for you, my friend. Just a quick visit to Idiot's Corner. Nick says, goodness, you talk some nonsense, James. Nick, I can guarantee, is a white, middle-class, heterosexual male who doesn't actually recognise the existence of a universe where not being all of those things would involve you having very, very different experiences of the police and very, very different interactions with the police and very, very different opinions of the police than other people born with less sort of state-sanctioned privilege. But, I absolutely know inequality in Idiot's Corner. Everybody equally valid, everybody equally welcome. And today's first visitor to Idiot's Corner is our friend Nick. And I'm going to read this text. I think it's close to Idiot's Corner, although whoever sent it is going to be very surprised to hear that. I'm an ex-Met officer. People don't trust police for three main reasons, in my opinion. Number one, it's cool to hate police / authority. Number two, the MSM is constantly attempting to tarnish police. Number three, the senior leadership for the police constantly apologise to appease the public rather than attempting to explain why police do what they do. I think it's an astonishing analysis, really, that completely ignores the experiences regarding the Sarah Everard murder, the 48 rape convictions of David Carrick, the experience of Mina Smallman and her family when police officers took pictures of her dead daughters and shared them with inappropriate comments and jokes in their WhatsApp groups, the countless other WhatsApp groups that have come to light showing officers being deeply misogynistic and racist with each other, secure in the knowledge that none of it would get reported upstairs. We haven't mentioned Stephen Lawrence, the Macpherson inquiry, the institutional racism and misogyny that the outgoing Chief Constable in Scotland has described as being endemic in his own force, the recent investigation by Louise Casey into the Metropolitan Police that arrived at exactly the same conclusions about institutional racism and prejudice. But I guess in a way, you've helped answer the question we're asking completely unintentionally. If you've got officers who think that the problem is the public think it's cool to hate the police and the media are too mean to them, while all of those things are going on in plain sight and more detail is coming to the surface about just how disgusting some members of the service are, that's how they get away with it. People like you think it's not a problem and it's all the media's fault. Good God, man. Thank God you're retired. The mention of Jeremy Corbyn earlier, it gets astonishing responses still. I'll just give you a flavour of it. The epic failure of Jeremy Corbyn was down to the Telegraph, the Guardian, and mostly the Israeli government and the Jewish Chronicle. And if you can't admit that, then you are part of it. That's the mindset I'm referring to when I talk about, or I wonder how much of his failure do you think was down to him. That right there. And I'll now get a couple of dozen of these in my inbox in the next 10 minutes or so, which serves me right, really, for complaining about how empty Idiot's Corner was an hour ago. It is. We've got our first entry for Idiot's Corner. Are you ready for this? This is Mike. He says, you were probably 11 years old in 1983. That's a very clever calculation, given that I said 20 minutes ago that I was 10 years old in 1982, Mike. Well played. It was very tough. Negative equity was rife. Interest rates were 15%. So much more home ownership. So much more hardship. Home ownership is not a right. Financial trends always go in cycles. Count yourself lucky if you benefited from rock bottom rates. Well, I do, and I said I did. But my goodness me, to look at the situation now and think that it is deserving of anything other than sympathy and a slice of panicking is a mark of being, well, a fully qualified member of Idiot's Corner. So well done, Mike.